Glad to talk to you guys today. Really appreciate the time. First, John, I wanted to ask you a few questions. What would you like to see from this group as they build off of last year?
Winning. Winning would be fine. We'd love to see the guys win and beat last year's total of 10, which was a really good year. So to be able to do better than that, especially with the guys that have come back and were part of that 10-win season, would be great. The season before that was a losing season, so be able to see that building process from losing to winning in 10 and then even more wins than that would be fantastic.
Lots of seniors graduated from last year, and there's a lot of goal scoring that you lost, but I know you're always thinking and manipulating and tinkering with things. And how's the offense and those guys gelled together so far?
The guys that we've brought in, I think, are going to be impactful. When you look at our statistics from last year, the forwards only scored 3 of our 40-something goals. So in effect, we didn't have a certified goal scorer. We think we have 1 or 2 of those this year, and I think the quality of our midfield is as good as it was last year. So we have a bit more balance in attack now. We'll have more people scoring goals, I think, than we did last year.
Last year, great back end, and you kind of mentioned the midfield this year. What would you like to see, kind of the synergy from the back end moving to the midfield and then to the forwards this year?
Well, a lot of that depends on what formation we end up playing. Some programs have decided on formations and then they put, pegs in those holes in the way they recruit. And other coaches like myself try and recruit the best players that we can find and then decide on a system from there. So that's kind of where we're at. So only by the end of this week will we know what that fluidity looks like depending on the formation. I mean, tactically, we're a team that likes to build and keep the ball and not just hammer it long, but we do if we have to. So we're a bit of a hybrid team, but time will tell.
And you had spoken to me before about, and I'll move to you guys, developmental and then moved ahead and now playing, with the main varsity club. And I'm sure you have a lot of wisdom to impart to younger players, but I'm sure that's a journey going from one and now regularly being part of the varsity club.
Yeah, I think for us, Drew and I have had a lot of conversations, even like the past couple weeks, about being really grateful for our experience on the second team and just seeing how, given that experience, how we can like pass on to the younger guys and like tell them that like they have a real chance of making a difference in the program and just help give them, guidance and pointers and to help them in their development on the field and off the field as well.
And then for a question for both of you guys, kind of on that note, with leadership, as you guys have gotten more experience in the program, what's kind of the biggest lesson that you try to teach the younger guys who are coming up in the program?
Yeah, I think from our program as a whole is just the idea that you have to be grateful for every moment to be a part of this team. I mean, whenever we go in, nobody deserves anything. We all come here on an even slate, so everything that is essentially given to is something that must be earned. So the entire deal that you have to be grateful for the opportunity you have to play at a college level is something that is really important, is something that we all need to have that mentality coming in, because at the end of the day, like, we're a team, our goal is to win, and no matter what role you play it's an important role, because that's what's going to help us win conference at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it's humility as well. I think it's a big transition to come to college. And I think it's obviously a struggle, like it's a transition. And just to help like teach the guys that like just the right way to do things and like how we do things at the Abbey, like our culture, but then also teach them that humility aspect, and to be, like Drew said, to be grateful for the opportunities that they're given, and just to really just enjoy playing and being grateful to be able to play.
Drew, individually, what would you like to work on most for your game this year?
Yeah, so in the past, my strengths are more on the defensive side, winning the ball back, playing very simple. I'm not, I would say most people would agree I'm not the most athletic or dynamic individual on the ball, but I think in general I am a smart player. But from now on, especially this year, I want to work on becoming more dynamic and having more of a forward focused mindset. And I think over the summer, a lot of what I worked on individually in training was kind of working on how to get the ball, move the ball to the 9 for opportunities to get moving faster, going forward, opening up and turning more. So I hope I can implement some of those aspects of my game to kind of build and reach that next level, which I know I can hit.
Last season, winning 10 games, really taking that next step, and I know you all want to get further this year. What would, in your mind, what would you say was the biggest key to try to get to a conference title game and win the conference championship this year?
Yeah, I think it's hard because a lot of our team is different guys. A lot of guys graduated, and we have a lot of new guys coming in. I think for me, the phrase that I've kind of been thinking about a lot is just managing expectations. So like it wouldn't be super surprising to maybe have a slow start with having a lot of new guys. So I think the key is just to manage expectations, to learn the new guys, learn how they work on the field, off the field, and just like kind of just be patient. And I think it'll come. I think we have a lot of good players. We just need to be patient with how we approach the season.
And then for Drew, kind of bouncing off of what Ian said about managing expectations, the exhibitions and then the non-conference games. What do you kind of hope to see from both yourself and from the younger guys coming in as you all get the season going?
Yeah, I think for me the most important thing is just kind of touching on the culture aspect is becoming unified and becoming like one team. And I think we will kind of see that as the season develops, as Ian said. But from what I've seen so far with the season and the limited time I've spent with the boys, is that our culture seems very strong, and all the guys we've brought in really identify with the principles of what the Abbey teaches. So I'm really, really excited for the season, and I think we have a great opportunity to really surpass a lot of the boundaries hit in the past. So I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to getting started.
Everybody's kind of got a different journey to playing soccer and coming to college. And how was your recruitment and then journey to the Abbey and deciding on the Abbey?
Yeah, so I was just going to go to a junior college in California, where I'm from. And then about like 3 weeks to a month before school started, I found Belmont Abbey on the Newman Guide. It's like a list of top Catholic schools. And I reached out to Coach Keating to see if I can just walk onto the team. So I came out to Charlotte to visit the campus, talked to Coach, went to Charlotte Independence game, and just like had that feel right away that this was home. And then had a tryout with the team, and then obviously made the second team the first year, and then slowly getting more and more minutes on first team.
I always like to ask these kind of humanizing questions,
Yeah.
and you're not just athletes and you're not just students, things, interests away from soccer. What are some of your hobbies away from the pitch?
I take this
Yeah,
one first.
I can probably do this one. So
You're gonna answer.
yeah, Ian's not the biggest hobby type of guy. So yeah, I'll take this one. My hobbies away from soccer, and kind of going back to like more of the educational side, I'm really interested in like the finance/investment route. So on campus, I'm involved in the investment club, and it's been a really, really cool opportunity just to kind of see and learn and grow as a person and to really build some awesome connections. One of the ways I did is I went to New York last year for spring break, and it was awesome. I got to go and like visit different financial firms and meet with different like portfolio managers, and it was just one of those experiences where you don't really get at other schools just because of the size. So that was really awesome. It was a cool experience, and glad to have it at the Abbey.
John, this year will be some quite some battles there in the net. What do you see for your goalkeepers going into the season?
My favorite subject, goalkeepers. Well, we've added 2 young goalkeepers, so succession planning is in place. So that's important to know. One of the 3 goalkeepers from last year, Trent, will have another year. So not only is there succession planning, but there's also some continuity planning where we're trying to encourage Trent to think about staying for another year. This will be his second year here. And he split time, as you know, in goal with Will and Jackson. As far as those 3 go, anticipating that they are the guys vying for starting positions, that the 2 younger guys have to pay their dues, so to speak. It's the usual quarterback controversy, which is kind of how we like it. On any given day, they're all just as good. Different strengths. players have different opinions on who they prefer playing in behind them. So we want to keep it edgy that way while supporting them at the same time, not creating division and unnecessary agitation, but at the same time, because they train differently to us, to make sure that they're always understanding that they're under scrutiny. It's such an awkward position because you can do nothing for 89 minutes and then for 10 seconds you're called to be a hero. And so if you don't train with that kind of edginess, which is one mistake could take you out of a lineup for tomorrow, then you're not creating the mental pressure and training that's needed for that particular position. And so we're going to keep it that way. We're not going to announce a starter till about 1 minute before the game.
And just with the experience that you have at that position, how nice is that for you to know that no matter who is in the lineup, that you can be comfortable knowing that they have been in those pressure type of situations, even dating back to last season and the season before?
Well, it's a double-edged sword for a coach. Really comfortable knowing that any of those three could start. So if there's an injury or concussions or lack of form, just like, all right, next up. So that's wonderful. And it also means that you know that you've got a goalkeeper in place that can help you in conference on day one and then game 9 and, first or second playoff game as well, all the way through. Double-edged sword. The two guys that are not playing or not starting are good enough to start at any other Division 2 and 3 college that I know. So I feel rough for them, just seeing these two amazing goalkeepers. It's their choice, of course, to stay and play and try and make it. But yeah, I do feel bad for them. And that's why my kids are not allowed to play goalkeeper.
You had mentioned about you was a dearth of scoring from the forward position. Who are you looking at, striker at the 9, to kind of be that guy going into the season?
Well, returning, we've got Alex Lusberg from Sweden.
He's
Who's
got another year.
Another year, yeah. And then, of course, guys like Pa, who can score from wide positions. We've got some graduate student wingers as well, Mikey Reed and company. And then we've got Sam Jordan, an English guy who's transferred to us as well. And among many others, we've got Bjorn Sigurdsson, an Icelandic guy who transferred. So we've got the guys, we've got the tools. But there's the names. I just throw out a few.
And then finally moving into the newcomers, you mentioned a few transfers.
Yeah.
Could you highlight just a few of the impact freshmen or who you believe to be from the freshman class?
Yeah, probably Josh Ainge is a player that I saw in England in December. I saw him in a men's game on a Friday night, and then I saw him play a different position in a showcase the next day. So he's gonna be good, and I think he'll bolster our midfield. It's gonna be wonderful. So he's one of the incoming freshmen. And then we've also got some transfer guys that play in the back line, like Ollie and Adam. And they're both, I think, really, really good quality players. But we've also got amazing players coming back, so nobody's guaranteed spots.
And as you always like to talk about, different venues can pose different challenges, different teams. Who do you kind of see ascending in terms of the top of the league this year, maybe descending a little bit as well?
Descending, I don't really know, because as amped as we are about having, in maturity in this particular recruiting class, we might get out to our first 5 games and realize that everybody's done the same thing, courtesy of the portal and all these kind of realities, and that it's just the level's gone. We've gone here level-wise, but so have they. If that's the case, then we'll deal with the same usual suspects. I think Converse, we have amazing coaching, Chowan, which is a reputable program and have done amazing things over the years. North Greenville, I think, is a program that has been on the ascendancy. Having been with those guys, played them for 13 years, they're that program that have made the biggest gains in the last 2 or 3 years. So they're also in the mix. And Young Harris, who joined our conference recently. We have new teams in the conference as well, of course, that we haven't actually seen play, but that are really reputable. Young Harris last year was probably our best game of the year. Probably the best.
The most competitive.
We felt like it was a 1-1 game, and we felt like they were probably the best team that we'd played. Having said that, the way the pods are organized, we didn't get to play Francis Marion. So, which is a bit of a bummer. You may not be playing all of the best, of the names that we're used to playing, but you know, to win a conference championship, I suppose you end up playing everybody.
Very much. All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Okay.
All right, thank you, guys.